The Lake by SinisterShaf. He sits here by the edge of the lake, at our lake, staring off into the deep horizon, reminiscing on the past, on our past. All of the summers we spent here, creating memories under this oak tree which we claimed as our own. I still remember our very first meeting, the barbecue at which I first came across him. It was during my family's first summer in town. Our parents were childhood friends, rekindling their lost friendship. It is all still clear in my mind how even though he was 2 years older than me, he still desired to be familiar with a shy girl who refused to loosen her grip from her mother's dress. He was intrigued, however I could not comprehend why anyone would want to waste their time on a girl living in her elder sister's shadow, never being seen or heard. But he made me who I am, or who I was. My outlook on life was changed completely, and it was all because of him. However, everything crumbled after the accident, the day my parents lost a daughter. Oh, how I wish I had prevented it, and I realized that I had the chance, but I did not do anything. My mind was a mess at the time. I was too far gone into my own world. I could not have stopped what happened, even if I had wanted to. I had become selfish, and his affection was to blame. If only I had come to my senses sooner, realized that the world did not revolve around me. But how he made me feel as though it did. He was the only one who ever paid any attention to me, making me feel wanted. I became obsessed, unable to let even a day pass by without seeing him. I began to crave his presence, but then everything began to change. We began to drift apart, and it broke me. Without him, I was nothing. He made me who I was, and when he became distant, I became empty, a forgotten shell fading back into the shadows. He forgot all about me. However, him and my sister became closer. She replaced me. They began to spend a lot of time with one another. Whenever I attempted to join them, they would dismiss me. At first, I tried to ignore the fact that I was being blocked out. But I was losing my best friend to my sister, and once again, I changed. I was starting to go insane. I would lie awake in bed every night, comparing myself to her. I would always be the plain and nervous little sister, overshadowed by her beautiful and confident elder sister. It became obvious why he chose her over me. I could not compete with her, but it became my mission to get my best friend back, even if it killed me. I finally decided that enough was enough. My life without him was incomplete, and I was willing to do anything to get him back. I spent weeks plotting my revenge. My sister had betrayed me. Siblings are supposed to look after one another. However, my own sister shattered my soul. She took the one thing in the entire universe that truly mattered to me. Knowing well how much his friendship meant to me, I had tried to talk to her on multiple occasions, begging her not to distance him from me, but she refused to listen, instead laughing in my face. My emotions were just a joke to her. I cried my heart out to her, and she just stepped on it, mocking me and calling me crazy. I was not crazy. I was just blinded by love and rage, which made me act irrationally. As the day of my 18th birthday approached, I decided that the time for me to act had come. It was a breezy summer morning. I woke to not even a single birthday wish. No cards, no presents, and no wishes. He always remembered my birthday, being the first to wish me every year at midnight exactly. I snapped, deciding that it was now or never. If I wanted things to go back to how they had been, then I would have to get rid of the one thing causing all of the chaos. I decided that the time had come to go and visit the lake with my sister. She was apprehensive at first, but after some convincing, she agreed to go for a boat ride. She did not seem to suspect a thing, and for just a moment, I began to question myself. Whether what I was planning to do was too extreme. Was I truly willing to permanently get rid of my sister for him? I loved him, yes, but I loved her as well, and she had always been there for me when I needed her most in the past. So maybe, if I spoke to her about how I felt, she would fix everything, and then I could have both my best friend and my sister in my life again. But these rational thoughts disappeared as quickly as they had appeared. I decided that things had escalated too much, and there was no turning back now. The plan would have to be executed. As we reached the lake, the sun illuminated the water and a slight breeze whistled through the leaves of the trees. Such a picturesque landscape, which would soon become the scene of a devastating tragedy. We grabbed our boat, taking it to the edge of the water, when my sister realised that we had forgotten our life jackets at home. She was sure that she had put them into the boot of the car. However, they seemed to have mysteriously disappeared. How strange. Neither my sister nor I could swim well, and because of that, we would always wear life jackets, so that if we were to fall into the lake accidentally, then at least we would be able to float until help arrived. She insisted that we should head back home and grab the jackets, just to be on the safe side. However, I reminded her that we had been boating in the lake for years now, and not once had anyone fallen overboard, so we should be safe. After much hesitation, she finally agreed. We both jumped into the boat and started to row until we reached the middle of the lake. I suggested stopping to enjoy the scenery, but the true reason for stopping where we had was so that no one could interfere with my plan. However, the events did not take place accordingly. It was my punishment for what I was about to do to my sister. She had stayed by my side through thick and thin. Although she had been acting aloof recently, that did not mean that she did not love me. In fact, the bond that siblings share is special, and surely she would never do anything to hurt me on purpose. My aim was to confront her. When I questioned her about why she had been spending so much time alone with my best friend, she replied,
"You will find out soon enough."
And then she winked at me. This response enraged me further. At the time, I was seeing red, and there was nothing that anyone could have done to stop me. I stood up in the boat, but as I was about to lunge towards her, the boat began to rock, and I lost my balance, falling over the edge of the small boat. I felt my body submerge into the cold water of the lake, struggling to bring my head out from under the water. I thrashed my arms and legs, but only succeeded in sinking deeper. No, 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 this was not the plan. She should have been the one falling deeper and losing oxygen. How had I ended up in her place? My mind was rushing, and I realised that my leg had become tangled in a stray fishing net, caught between two rocks. I could not untangle myself from the net, and my body was starting to crave oxygen. Then, all of a sudden, my willpower left me, and I let go. As the water began to fill up my lungs, I accepted the fact that no one would be able to reach me in time to save me, and I suffered the fate I had planned for my sister. It took them a couple of days before they recovered my body. They found it trapped and bloated on a pile of rocks under a fishing net at the bottom of the lake. My sister had rowed back to land and called for help, but it was useless. I had breathed my last breath way before she had even started to row back. Due to her inability to swim, she told the police that she thought it was best for her not to risk her own life by going in after me, and instead thought it best to call someone who could help. Who would have known that I was not the only twisted one in the family? She turned out to be worse. At least I felt remorse for what I was about to do, but my sister has never felt even an ounce of guilt. The thing that I had not realised was that whilst I was plotting against her, I had become her target. She wanted him, and she got him, but there was always the fear in the back of her mind that one day I would take my best friend back and she would once again be insignificant in his life. I gave her the chance to get rid of me without even realising, and she did not even think twice about it. She knew how to mess with my emotions, and she pushed the right buttons to make me lose control. When I stood up in the boat, she knew that she had one chance, and she rocked the boat knowing full well that I would fall overboard. In fact, she waited in the boat for a good 20 minutes after I had fallen in, just to make sure that I would be dead before help arrived. Then she played the card of the innocent and helpless young girl who had tried everything that she could have to save her sister. I was there at the funeral, watching her crocodile tears, as she gained sympathy from strangers. My parents were crushed. They could not believe the fact that their youngest daughter was no more. They felt guilty for not having wished me a happy birthday when they had the chance. They had been planning a surprise party, which was to have taken place that night, but instead they were surprised with the news that I had fallen into the lake and my body was nowhere to be found. He cried a lot. He was helping my parents with the arrangements of the party and also had wanted to surprise me. Unfortunately, he never got the chance to. How heartbreaking that the day of my birth also became the day of my death. Now, every year on my birthday, he sits by the lake to reminisce. He cries sometimes, and he also brings me flowers. After everything, he thought it best to keep his distance from my sister because she reminded him too much of me. So although everything my sister did was so that she could get closer to him, she only succeeded in pushing him away. She has never faced any repercussions for her actions, because I am the only one who knows what she is truly like. Everyone else just believes her when she says that it was all an accident. She is such a good liar. I, on the other hand, am forced to wander the earth, watching my loved ones grow older from a distance. I am no longer a part of their world, and due to my immoral deeds, I am unable to move on to the next. My punishment is to watch my loved ones suffer, knowing that somewhere I am the cause of their suffering, and that there is nothing I can do to stop it. Maybe one day I will be able to move on, but until then, I must reside by this lake that I once adored so much, reliving the past and waiting for my soul to be saved. Hello everyone, SinisterShaf here. I hope you enjoyed this original story. I came up with a concept for it a few years ago and decided to write it so that I could narrate it as my comeback story. I aim to post more often, and the reason for my absence was because I had been busy with school and exams. But I am back now, so expect frequent uploads. If you liked the video, then please like and subscribe. Also, make sure to comment down below. I love reading all of your comments. And, as always, stay sinister.